Cyrus the Great, conqueror of the world. Around 600 BC, in the mountain city of Anshan, in what is now southwestern Iran, a boy was born. His name was Cyrus. His father was the Persian king. His mother was the daughter of the powerful Median ruler Astyages. This boy would grow up to build the largest empire the world had ever seen. The Greeks would call him simply the Great. At that time, Persians were a small mountain people. They obeyed a foreign king. They lived in harsh mountains and knew only one thing: how to fight. From the age of 5, Persian boys were taught 3 things only: to ride a horse, to shoot a bow, and to speak the truth. Nothing else. No books, no trade. Only war and honor. In 559 BC, Cyrus became king of the small kingdom of Anshan. Nobody believed anything great would come of it. First War. Media. 553 to 550 BC. Cyrus's first enemy was his own grandfather, the Median king Astyages. Media was a massive empire, a huge army, rich cities, many conquered peoples. The Persians were their servants. Cyrus declared rebellion, and the war began. The fighting lasted 3 full years. 3 years of brutal combat across the mountains and valleys of the Iranian plateau. In the first major battle, the Median commander Harpagus switched sides in the middle of the fight. He led half the Median army straight over to Cyrus. The betrayal was devastating. Astyages lost his best soldiers in a single moment without a single sword swing. Astyages did not give up. He personally gathered a new army and marched into battle himself. The second battle lasted 2 days. The Medes pushed hard, the Persians fell back. Losses were enormous on both sides. It looked like the rebellion would be crushed. But in the third and final battle, something extraordinary happened. The Median soldiers mutinied against their own king right on the battlefield. They seized Astyages with their own hands and handed him over to Cyrus. Cyrus marched into Ecbatana, the Median capital, as conqueror. He took the gold and the treasuries, but he did not execute Astyages. He kept him alive, gave him a royal pension. The Median nobles he took into his own court and army. Together with Media, Armenia, and Syria came under Persian control. The first war was over. The first empire had begun. Second war, Lydia, 547 to 546 BC. The news of Media's fall spread across the entire Middle East. The Lydian king Croesus, the richest man of his time, decided to strike first before Cyrus grew any stronger. He sent a messenger to the oracle at Delphi. The oracle answered, if Croesus goes to war, he will destroy a great empire. Croesus celebrated. He never realized the great empire that would be destroyed was his own. The Lydian army crossed the Halys River and invaded Cappadocia. The first battle at Teria was brutal. Both armies fought the entire day. No winner. Massive casualties on both sides. Croesus pulled back to his capital Sardis, planning to wait for reinforcements from Egypt and Sparta, then attack again in spring. Any normal commander would have stopped for winter. No army marched in winter. Cyrus was not a normal commander. He immediately moved his entire army forward. In winter, at full speed. The Persians appeared outside the walls of Sardis before Croesus could even react. No allies arrived. Egypt was too late. Sparta was too late. Croesus sent out his cavalry onto the plain before Sardis. Lydian horsemen were the finest in the world. Thousands of warriors on powerful horses armed with long spears, the pride of the entire kingdom. The decisive battle of Thymbra began. And here Cyrus used a tactic nobody had ever seen. On the advice of his general Harpagus, he placed camels at the very front of his entire battle line. Just camels. Horses fear the smell of camels by pure animal instinct. The Lydian war horses went wild. They threw their riders. They trampled their own infantry. The greatest cavalry in the world turned and fled, without ever fighting a real battle. The remaining Lydian forces locked themselves inside Sardis. Cyrus began the siege. Double walls, towers, deep water-filled moats. The fortress seemed impossible to take. It held for exactly 2 weeks. A Persian scout had been watching the walls carefully. He noticed one Lydian guard climb down the cliff to retrieve a fallen helmet, then climb back up. That same night, Persian soldiers climbed up the exact same route. They opened the gates from inside. Sardis fell. Croesus was taken alive. Cyrus spared him and kept him as an advisor. After Sardis, all of Asia Minor opened before the Persians. The Greek cities of Miletus, Halicarnassus, and Phocaea fell one by one. The entire Ionian coast became Persian. The best Greek fleet in the world joined Cyrus. Third War, the East. 545 to 540 BC. The West was conquered. Cyrus turned his army east. Parthia, Bactria, Sogdia, Chorasmia, modern Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. There was no single great battle here, only endless brutal work. Every day, skirmishes. Every week, another city to storm. Chasing bands of nomadic warriors across burning deserts and mountain passes, the army marched thousands of kilometers through conditions that would break any ordinary force. The march through the Gedrosian desert became a catastrophe. Cyrus entered with a large army. He came out with 7 soldiers. The desert killed what no enemy could. Scorching heat, no water, no food, poisonous snakes, sandstorms that buried men alive. The campaign into India also failed. Intense heat, disease, and fierce infantry broke the Persian advance. Cyrus lost nearly half his army and was forced to retreat. It was one of the very few defeats of his life. But by 540 BC, Bactria, Sogdia, and Khwarezmia had all submitted. On the banks of the Sir River, Cyrus founded a city, Syropolis, the farthest eastern point of his empire. Fourth War, Babylon, 539 BC. One great enemy remained, Babylon, the largest city in the world. Its walls were so wide that 4 chariots could ride side by side across the top. A double ring of fortifications, a deep water-filled moat, towers every 20 meters, 3 great conquerors before Cyrus had tried to take it by storm. None succeeded. In August 539 BC, the decisive battle took place at Opis on the Tigris River. The Babylonian army had taken strong positions blocking the river crossing. Cyrus struck from behind, hitting exactly where they did not expect. The Babylonians were completely destroyed, enormous losses. King Nabonidus fled. Then Persian engineers began the great work, slowly diverting the waters of the Euphrates River, which ran directly through the heart of the city. Day by day, the water level dropped. When the river was shallow enough, a small unit waded into Babylon through the exposed riverbed, directly under the walls. That night, the citizens of Babylon were celebrating a religious festival. They were drinking, singing, burning fires for their gods. They heard nothing. By morning, Babylon was taken. No walls breached, no great assault. The greatest city in the world fell almost without a fight. Cyrus destroyed nothing. He protected every temple. He freed all peoples held in captivity, including the Jews who had been held since 597 BC. He let them go home and rebuild their temples. For this, the Bible called